All right, Coach. Coming back off a New Year's Eve game versus Harvard 4-2 win, heading into a Friday matchup on Nesson against UMass, hockey back in Hockey East play. Just want to get your thoughts heading into this one game weekend.
Yeah, we're hoping to build off that win versus Harvard. I thought we played a pretty good game against them on Sunday, and we know we've got a very formidable opponent in UMass uh, on Friday night, especially at the Mullins Center. It's always a tough building to play in. Greg's teams are always very well coached. They have some, All-American, two All-American defensemen in my mind, and Ufko and Morrow. And they're very deep up front as well. And then Muse is having a great freshman year for them, and Suniev's a freshman who's played really well, and I think Lautenbach's a good player. Connors, they're deep in all aspects, and looking forward to up tempo, exciting game on Friday night.
Awesome. We'll open it up for questions. Dan, you want to start us off?
Sure. With Canada getting knocked out early at a World Juniors, do you think Matt will be back for Friday?
How did I know that was going to be the first question? He's flying back today. We'll see. Through my experiences with this, every kid's different. It's certainly easier when the games are in North America. When you're coming, it's such a grueling and intense tournament that it's not an easy transition. Let's say that. So hopefully we'll get him back here safe and sound tonight. See how he's doing tomorrow, and then we'll make a decision.
Go ahead, Joe.
Thanks, Colin. Cav, how has Jake Percival improved from this point last year until now?
Well, he just keeps getting better, Joe. He was a really good player for us last year. He got off to a hot start with us last year, and then was a little snake bitten, I thought, in the second half of the season. And that kind of carried over into a little bit of this year. But I'm just talking points and production-wise. However, his value to the team goes much beyond that. He's an outstanding penalty killer. He's a guy that we're going to have out there, 5-on-6. He brings so much energy. He's a tenacious forechecker. He's just really become an integral part of our team.
Jumping in, Coach, if you can speak about just, coming back from break, how you thought the guys adjusted well in that Harvard game. I know you spoke about it briefly, saying you liked the first two periods, but what would you like to see them continue over into the UMass game?
Well, what I didn't like was the offensive zone penalties in the third period. I thought that took us out of our rhythm. I thought we were playing really well. And, when you can roll four lines and you can put a lot of pressure on an opponent, like I said, we got into a great rhythm in that game. And then you start taking some penalties, and not everybody plays, and it takes you out of that rhythm. And I thought we lost a little bit of that energy and attack mentality because of that. So I'd like to see us, continue to play that way, but certainly Friday night, we know we can't be taking penalties, unnecessary penalties. And most of the time when you take a penalty in the offensive zone, it can be avoided. So you don't want to be given that power play too many opportunities. I think they're outstanding.
Joe, we'll go over to you.
Thanks, Colin. Cav, you knew Andrew Lucas would be good. Are you surprised just how consistent he is?
Not really. He was a kid that before he transferred from Vermont, we tried to recruit him. And we were upset when I should say we were disappointed that we didn't get him. And then, when he decided to transfer, he was certainly a priority for us, Joe, because he does so many things. He's known for his offensive capabilities, but I think his defensive play is very underrated. He's got an excellent stick. He's in position all the time. He competes. He's certainly been a kid that is invaluable to our program. You're making this easy for me today, guys. I like this.
Go ahead, Dan.
Let's continue asking about if guys are going to be back. How's Jake Falou doing?
He's good. He actually today was he still hasn't had he's practiced yesterday and today. He won't be playing, this weekend, but he had 2 full practices yesterday and today without contact. So hopefully we can work him into some contact either tomorrow or Monday and kind of go from there. We won't really know until, he starts participating through a full practice with contact, but so far he's looked pretty good.
Not necessarily with Jake to begin with, but just in general, how many contact practices do you like a guy to get before they go back into a game action?
I think it's all depends on the person. I don't think it'll take him long. If he goes through a couple days of contact, I think he'd be cleared to play. But I'm not a trainer, so I leave that up to them.
Go ahead, Joe.
How did you like how Frazier's line played on Sunday, Cav, with Joey and I forget who, and Tattle?
I thought that, towards the end of the first semester, I thought they were one of our best lines.
Right.
They took a couple penalties, which I wasn't too thrilled with, but they certainly brought energy and, we need them to be really good. That's for sure.
You don't have to, you're not relying on many freshmen, really, only Joey and Jake Richard and sometimes somebody on the blue line. Do freshmen have a harder time coming back after the break just because they're not used to it?
That's interesting. I've never thought about it that way. I think the only people that have a hard time coming back after the break are the ones that didn't stay in shape over the break. So those are the ones that have a hard time coming back. For the most, this isn't foreign to them. They all played in the USHL where you have a 10-day break and you have to come back and play games. So I don't think it really what year you are is indicative of how you're going to play after the break. I think it's more the guys that stay in shape over the break are the ones that usually play the best.
Do you give them, Cav, a training routine you want them to follow while they're away? Or it's just, hey, I trust you, make sure you get your skating and, your weightlifting in?
Yeah, our strength coach, Mo Butler, gives them, she has certain expectations and gives them a training program she'd like them to adhere to. The older kids, you just like Hudson Shandor, I told him not to skate over the break that much because he plays a lot of minutes for us. I think his legs need some rest. Naturally, he did, but I was more concerned with him doing bike workouts and keeping his cardio up than I was. He's not going to forget how to skate, over 2 weeks. So he needed a little. So everybody's different, Joe, and you want to try to tailor it to their specific needs.
Dan, we'll head back to you.
That goal that Jake Richard scored, that tip in, is that something that he's shown as part of his game and hasn't necessarily had the opportunity to do?
It's something that we work on with all our players. A lot of times the goalies are so good, and I don't think this is revolutionary. I'm sure every team in the league is working on it, but you shoot for sticks. And sometimes you want to shoot off the net and tip it back like we did right on that goal because it's really hard for the goaltender to stop that puck. And when you can get the goalie to open up, that's how it goes through 5-hole or goes through holes. So it's something that, we worked on it again today. We work on it not every practice, but probably 2 out of 3.
Then did you see that overtime winner that Ruslan scored?
I did. I did not teach him that move. No.
Not surprising that it's Ruslan, though. He always had those moves up, didn't he?
He did. I'm happy to see him doing well.
And then have you been able to talk to Tage? Just welcomed a new member of his family.
I heard that. Not yet. No, I heard that. Yeah, excited for him for sure.